I'm going to ask an easy one here. I say it's easy. For the state candidates, what is your position on tolls on Highway 95 and Highway 85, and why? I said it was easy.
Toll against tolls. Totally against tolls. If we're going to toll one road, we need to toll them all. That's the only way I can vote for tolling in North Carolina. Let me say this. DOT has no money. They are $155 million deficit there. The reason your gas tax went up 4 cents is because every penny that we raise the gas tax brings in $50 million. 50 million. So that means that when we raise it 4 cents, that should have brought in $200 million. So it took you out of this hole. That's what that was about. Now, I think at the end of the day, that if we're funding the interstate program out there, it's a law that says that we cannot toll existing interstates. But this is a pilot program. That's how we're getting into this tolling part. And Virginia has switched their earmark from I-81 over to I-95. From Charleston, Virginia, over to I-95. Now, when they start tolling at that Virginia line, and they have nice roads over there, and they come over here, and you're going to get on our roads over here, it'd be about the same thing as the lottery. They're getting all our money, but yet we're getting nothing. The federal government is an 80-20 or a 90-10. I cannot tell you on the funding. But the 90 or the 80 is the federal government's part. We don't have enough for the 10 to fund anything out there work on the road. So that's where we're at on totally. Totally against it, unless we're going to do everybody.
This issue has been talked ever since I went into the General Assembly in 2005. They were talking about I-85 and I-95, and then the process has gone through, and I had a conversation with the governor about the issue about where they went through the public hearings, and the process was already moving through and pre-approved before it ever finished the public hearings, which I thought was unacceptable, and I told them that. But I'm totally opposed against it because they're trying to just attack I-95. I-85, you got the interstates in the western part of the state. I mean, they had taken our money until they finally made it be accountable. They were taking money from the rural communities and putting it in urban communities like Princeton, Mecklenburg, Charlotte. And they had growth too. We had growth here in the rural communities. But what they're trying to do is unacceptable because of the people that we have, the industry we have, and then we have people that on poverty levels, and we have people. We have our capstone, we have Lowe's Distribution Center that has, they have over 1,200 trucks to go in and out a week. We have capstone and all the people going out. And plus they want to tax school buses on 95, toll 95, I think ambulances, patrol cars. It's unreal. But we are fighting, I'm fighting, and I'm going to fight it tooth and nail and do all I can, along with the delegation and also along with the federal delegation. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Shearin?
This toll is, I agree with both of them, and the toll, though, I think is very similar in nature to the lottery. They're both ways we're trying to get money from taxpayers by kind of dividing and conquering. I was against the lottery when it was proposed because I didn't think it would be used for the schools. Who knows? What will happen is we use the money for these tolls, but we'll still not have enough money. We'll still have to keep raising gas taxes and paying other taxes for the highways. It's just a way for the government to escape responsibility and to make it appear that we're getting something built free. We should tax the people enough to pay for the roads and make them safe. But it's also, we should realize we can't perfect everything. We've heard all these reports about all these things we need to do to the roads. But we can do that with every single road we have. There's not a road you can go through and say that doesn't need some improvement. So I'll say what I said a week ago, we never have enough money for highways, we never have enough money for schools. We need to come up with a baseline for spending at the state level that we can tolerate, put that in the Constitution and say that we've got to spend within that, decide what our priorities are and spend within that level. Because if you make an exception for anything and say, do we have enough for this or do we have enough for that? We never do. So what you've got to do is like a family, say, this is how much we have coming in, what is the most important way to spend this money? And then fight over that or discuss it. I get so excited, I'm not sure you know, I love dialogue, but I sometimes get excited. But, that's my view on that. Thank you.
I too am opposed to tolling. I just think that what we need to do is put in place a revenue source, if it's taxation or whatever it is, to provide for the infrastructure of our nation. If it's roads, if it's schools, if it's other infrastructure, we need to tax and use the money for what the money was taxed for in order to provide the things that we need as basic infrastructure for a civilized 21st century society. These are things that we must do. And that's just part of the basic infrastructure. So I believe we need to fund it and just pay for it. That's it.
Two things, one thing on that, did we not have the money in the road fund that was the same thing happened to that money that happened to the lottery funds? Did it not go to balance the general fund? And so now we're paying the price? That's unfortunate. Yeah.
All right. But again, if you repeal the gas tax, and you put a cap on it, and I told you the 155 million we're in the hole, we can't get out of that hole if you repeal the gas tax. So some people they're gonna take some money from other places. It's just that simple.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. We can't spend the money for things that we're collecting the money for and stay up with what we need to stay up with that money instead of robbing Peter to pay Paul. And that's been going on for a long time. Both with the lottery funds and the transportation fund